What's up, YouTube? It's another day with the one and only Billy J. And this is our final video on 13 Reasons Why, which could be construed as the 14th reason why. This is my final video on Season 1 until Season 2 comes out, which might be next year sometime. So let's give a quick rundown of those that got tapes from Hannah and whether or not I feel that they deserved a tape. First up is Justin. Now Justin was the jock that Hannah fell in love with, and yeah, he was dating somebody else, and then Hannah kind of moved in once she moved out of town, and it was all a big misunderstanding. Justin was innocently taking pictures of her and took one bad photo as she was coming down the slide, which kind of exposed her underwear or whatever. And it wasn't Justin that sent out the photo to everybody, it was Bryce. So Justin, you get off the hook. No tape for you for sending out that photo. What did Jessica do? What did Jessica do? They were best friends, since they were both new to the school. And then they kind of just had a falling out because of the note that Alex wrote or whatever, that's saying that Hannah had a better ass. And so these two girls fought. That is just some BS high school drama that Jessica, granted she slapped Hannah, but she definitely didn't deserve a tape for slapping Hannah. Now Alex was the third person to receive a tape, and he didn't really do much either. He wrote a note, or a note was being passed around with different categories, and Alex just so happened to put Hannah's name as best ass, and who cares? Stupid kids come up with stupid lists all the time, and it really wasn't that degrading. Now granted, what Bryce did was absolutely uncalled for in sexually assaulting you as far as grabbing your ass at that liquor store, but still, that was not Alex's fault. Next up was Tyler. Now Tyler did do something criminal. Yeah, he was a peeping Tom, and he was kind of a stalker. So Tyler definitely needed to be reported on to the police perhaps, but I give Hannah credit for trying to nip it in the butt and go up to him personally and say, hey, I saw you taking pictures of me and I want you to stop immediately. But if anything, she could have gone to the police and reported him for stalking and peeping Tomming. Is that a thing? But whatever it is. Courtney was a bitch. But Courtney, I felt, did not necessarily deserve a tape. She was merely doing what all kids do, and that is self-preservation. When it was exposed, the picture, and it really wasn't that hard to figure out who was in the photo. But of course the jocks figured out that it was Courtney and Hannah, and they're going around saying, hey, remake this scene or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And in self-preservation mode, Courtney said that it wasn't her, it was somebody else, and Hannah. But of course, after the fact, Courtney was a bitch and didn't admit that it was her and this and that, even though everybody pretty much knew it was her. What does it matter, Courtney? Just come out of the closet. Next up was Marcus, and Marcus did one thing wrong, and that was be very aggressive in his date with Courtney at the restaurant. And Hannah, of course, did the right thing in immediately telling him no and shoving him off. Granted, Marcus made a scene at the restaurant, but he did leave. Did Marcus do anything else? I can't remember. Next up was Zach, our boy, Asian jock Zach. And Zach, all he did was steal stupid little compliments out of Hannah's bag. And that was in retaliation of him trying to be nice to Hannah and go out on a date, or I don't know what his whole intentions was, but he wanted to just be with Hannah, and not necessarily sexually or whatever, but he just wanted to be nice to Hannah. And she misconstrued the situation, thinking that he was sent there by Marcus and Justin, and it was like a big ploy or whatnot. But in retaliation to his rejection, he stole her little compliments, and that definitely didn't deserve a tape. And considering that Hannah lied on her tape, or maybe just misremembered, and saying that he crumpled up the note and threw it on the ground, but in fact, he kept the note and it was in his wallet. So they were both immature on both ends. Next up was Ryan, and Ryan merely tried to help Hannah in publishing her poem, and he didn't expose Hannah at all. He wrote it anonymously and didn't put her name on it or anything like that. So it isn't like the whole school knew it was Hannah Baker that wrote that poem. And who cares what the rest of the school thought, Hannah? Your poem probably could have got published in a book or a magazine and got national exposure, and you would have been on the up and up. Next up was Justin. Once again, this was Justin 2.0, and this is for his actions, or perhaps lack of actions, at the party for Jessica. And she gave Justin a second tape for not stopping the rape of Jessica by Bryce. Now, Justin did try to stop Bryce. He tried to, cock block him at the door and say, hey, don't go in there, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But Bryce was a bigger guy than Justin and easily overpowered him and pushed him aside and went inside. And then Justin even tried to go back inside the room and stop him. But Bryce, being a bigger guy, beat him up and shoved him out of the room and overpowered him. And so Justin was unable to go back in there to protect Jessica. Now, who was in the room that could have done something? Could that have been you, Hannah? Hannah was just hiding in the closet and saw the whole thing, when she could have came out and grabbed something and hit Bryce or something else, and or at least come and unlock the door to let Justin back in to fight Bryce. Now, Justin also could have gone and got other guys at the party to go in there to stop Bryce. So yes, Justin could have done more, but Hannah also could have done more as well. So I say it's about 50-50. Next up was Sherry. Now, Sherry was at the party as well, and then she was on her way home, and after the whole Jessica rape scene and everything, Hannah decided to dip out of the party, and so she hitched a ride with Sherry. And while Sherry was distracted looking for her phone charge or whatever, she ran over a stop sign and then just went away because she was scared. Now, this falls under the line of self-preservation and the teenage mentality, because Sherry didn't want to get in trouble for running into a stop sign and having to deal with police or her parents. Now, Hannah did the right thing. Well, she was kind of ditched, but she was there at the intersection. But Hannah should have stayed there at the intersection until the next passing car came, and then got some help and whatnot. But instead, she left the intersection to go get help, which was okay. But like I said, she should have stayed there at the intersection to prevent the accident that ultimately resulted in Jeff's death. So because there was a death involved, an accident involved, because of Sherry's actions, Sherry deserved to get in some trouble. The next tape was Clay, of course. And of course, Clay didn't really do anything wrong. At the party, he was there with Hannah. They were, flirting and whatnot. And, the next things were going to happen. But then she called it off. And, he did exactly what she said to do, and that is go away. And so Clay went away. Clay isn't a mind reader and an expert in women talk, and when she said go away, she really meant stay, which is really crazy. And she said it very forcibly, like she shouted. I'm surprised no one else at the party heard it. But Clay definitely did not deserve a tape. The only reason he got a tape was for her to kind of explain her feelings for Clay, I guess. Next up was Bryce. Now Bryce, of course, deserved a tape. He raped Hannah at the party. Well, not that party, at Sherry's or Jessica's party, but at a party at his house. Bryce definitely deserved to get the police involved and have him put away in prison. And finally, her 13th reason why was Mr. Porter. Now, at the beginning of the final episode, Hannah was like, well, I'm going to give life one more chance and see if this one person can save me or whatnot. And so she decided that the one person that was going to make her decide life was worth it was Mr. Porter, their guidance counselor, which was kind of odd because throughout the episode she was saying that Clay was her one beacon of light, and yet she kept pushing Clay away and kind of ignoring him. So Hannah should have gone to her beacon of light in Clay, and instead she went to Mr. Porter. Now, in regards to Mr. Porter, he didn't necessarily do anything wrong. He didn't ignore her. It was mostly on Hannah not giving him the proper information. Hannah kept speaking in generalities, kind of hinted at certain things, but never blatantly said certain things. And when Mr. Porter would ask for more specifics, she wouldn't give him specifics. Like when he asked the name of the student that may have perhaps done something to her, she wouldn't give him a name, and she just kept saying no, I don't want to press charges and this and that. When Hannah should have been honest and forthcoming with Mr. Porter and give him the information and saying, hey, I was at this party and Bryce did this to me and I said no and this and that. So based on the information or lack thereof that was given to Mr. Porter, I kind of give Mr. Porter a pass. And Hannah was expecting Mr. Porter to act like it was like the movies, and when she left the office, she expected him to just come rushing out and running down the hall after her. And who knows, perhaps Mr. Porter was going to set up a meeting with Hannah's parents and tell them about the information that he got from Hannah, or the situation that he was able to derive from her ramblings. And maybe he can go that route through the parents to get the information out of Hannah and perhaps get the police involved. But of course, after the incident in Mr. Porter's office, she just ups and leaves and then goes about her business in finishing her last tape and then sending him off and ultimately killing herself. So the ultimate tragedy is, of course, Hannah killing herself, which is terrible, but also that she didn't leave anything for her parents. She didn't leave an explanation for her parents. She didn't leave them a tape saying, hey, I'm sorry, or this, or anything like that. And throughout the show, it isn't like her parents were like deadbeats or drug abusers or anything like that. They were very caring and loving and understanding of Hannah. There's only one little blow up, and that's when Hannah lost the money for the bank. And there's only a minor blow up, but it isn't they didn't necessarily ground her or abuse her or anything like that. They were just loving, caring parents that Hannah could have just easily had gone to for whatever her problems were. But of course, Hannah being a stereotypical teenager, feeling that she's a young adult and can handle her own problems, it just was too overwhelming for her. And that is my biggest advice I could give to any teenager. Obviously, I would. The show is fictionalized, but this stuff does happen. But my one thing is, if you have these feelings of thoughts of suicide, and especially when you're a teenager or at any age, go to somebody else that you can trust, like your parents or other family members or trusted friend, and get their point of views, and just get whatever is bothering you off your chest, and just reach out. Hannah didn't really reach out to anybody. She just kept it all inside. And then I thought after she finished her tape, she said that she felt kind of relieved and whatnot. But then she had it in her mind that she was going to kill herself no matter what. When she went to the store to talk to her mom, she stole those those razor blades because she already had it in her mind that she was going to kill herself pretty much no matter what. I don't think there's anything Mr. Porter could have said or done that would have stopped Hannah. Well, that's just my opinion. Leave a comment down below on your opinion, and leave who you thought deserved tapes. Did everybody deserve a tape, or was it just a select few? And remember, peace, love, unity, respect. Peace out, guys.